Leaked video. Google leadership's dismayed reaction to Trump election. So this is a video recorded by Google shortly after the 2016 presidential election.
Oh, dude, this is going to be good.
Reveals an atmosphere of panic and dismay among the tech giant's leadership.
Okay, well, that's interesting.
Coupled with a determination to thwart both the Trump agenda and the broader populist movement emerging around the globe. So,
do you know why the story is coming out? Because I actually know why exactly.
okay, go ahead.
It's because Trump has accused Google of having a bias against conservatives, and
Right.
this is just Breitbart just trying to push that, like, see, there actually is. Look at here the two heads of Google going, oh my god, this is a nightmare.
The video is about an hour long, so we're obviously not going to take a look at that, but they do have some highlighted sections here describing some of the juicier bits.
So this is like the timeline of the video and timestamps.
Early on in the video, Google co-founder Sergey Brin states that Sergey Brin states that the weekly meeting is probably not the most joyous we've had, and that most people here are pretty upset and pretty sad. Whatever.
Well, they're a bunch of liberals. Of course, that's how they feel.
Brin contrasts the disappointment of Trump's election with his excitement at the legalization of cannabis in California, triggering laughs and applause from the audience. Cool. Big deal. Returning to business, Brin says he is deeply offended by the election of Trump and that the election conflicts with many of Google's values.
Okay.
Trump trying to explain the motivations of Trump supporters. Senior VP for Global Affairs Kent Walker concludes fear, not just in the United States, but around the world, is fueling concern, xenophobia, hatred, and a desire for answers that may or may not be there. Walker goes on to describe the Trump phenomena as a sign of tribalism that's self-destructive in the long term. Striking an optimistic tone, Walker assures Google employees that despite the election, history is on our side and that the moral arc of history bends towards progress. It sounds to me so far like this is just a case of a liberal company realizing that all of its employees are just like beside themselves with fucking post-Trump-matic stress disorder.
This is the leadership coming together and saying, like, we need to calm the fire, basically.
Yeah, like, let's calm down, guys. This is the worst thing that's ever happened, somehow we're going to persevere.
In the end, we're going to win, guys. In the end, like, Trump is a speed bump.
I'm going to say this, dude.
Okay.
You can go read the rest of it. Maybe there's more damning evidence down there. Mm-hmm. When I hear something like Google, is against conservatives or Google, discriminates, I say no shit. They're a liberal Silicon Valley company. Of course, they're going to have a core liberal value to them. See, this is why it's dangerous to allow big private companies to have broad dominion over free speech and privacy areas, because they're, by their nature, going to be antagonistic towards people that don't believe the same way that they do.
Yeah,
that
was kind of the reason I was interested in this story, because obviously I'm not here to defend Trump. I think he sucks. What I'm here to show is that, these are the gatekeepers of information in our culture, and they are not objective. They are not unbiased. They have a fucking agenda.
But you know what the scary thing is, and a lot of people don't realize this, because like right now it's like the SJW is like, kick him off. It's like, you don't think that one day that's going to be used against you too?
Oh, dude, it's already happened. You know what just happened recently?
Well, look at the Will Wheaton fiasco was a perfect example of that.
Think Progress, dude. Facebook was Think Progress had a story that some lumbering media dinosaur or something didn't like, so they went to Facebook and said, "Hey, take Think Progress off," and they did.
Of course they did.
They're just like, oh yeah, so it's already being
these big papers are owned by even bigger companies now.
Yeah, it's already being used against the left. This is not about. See, the problem is all these right wingers right now think this is left-right, and it's not. This is corporate left, which is not even the true left by any stretch of the imagination, but the corporatist Democrat fucking sort of clique and shit.
You know one thing corporations...
They're the ones that really want power. They're not for progressive values. They're not for conservative values. They're for, making money but still patting themselves on the back about how great they are.
They're not for what they trade in, which is speech and privacy.
Yeah.
That's their trade. Their part and parcel is speech and privacy, and neither of those are core principles at any of these fucking companies. That's not what they're chasing.
Well, one thing that all these companies love, it doesn't matter if it's a liberal company, like it's like a Target or a Starbucks, or, an oil company. There's one thing that they love. They always love the PR spin. They love homogenizing language. They love the same sort of ideas. Like, okay, we have to say this. We can't use profanity. It has to be brand safe. And it's like, that's what they care about. And you know what Think Progress is doing? They're doing salacious articles to get shit out there. And they're like, oh, wait, they're actually beating us because they're giving people what they actually want. Get rid of our competition for us. And they do it.
Yeah. And I don't know if you guys saw, but YouTube just recently removed a bunch of Syria channels connected to the Syrian government and pro-Syria channels because we're ramping up aggressive talk against Syria. So the government just goes to Google and says, "Hey, can you get rid of all this pro-Syria stuff so that because we don't really want people liking Syria."
Yeah, we don't want anybody to see any other side
Have
of
you guys
any
heard about
argument.
that gang kind of rap they have in London, and then they banned it. I think we should cover it on the show, but if we didn't, they have this kind of like this subgenre of rap, and they're like, "Oh, this is too." What people are saying, we can't let them say this because then people end up dying, and it's like what? It's like it's like everything they use in entertainment and art now has just become a scapegoat to censor it. Oh, this is too this is too that, or this is hate speech. TJ, what you said is hate speech. It's like. They can, no matter what it is, they can come up with a reason, and they can make you and they can break you. People go like, "Well, these people have these big channels," but it's like, you know what? You're irrelevant. That doesn't matter. If you think that big channel is a banner that's going to protect you, guess what? YouTube can just pick any fucking person that has any sort of talent and make them the next big thing tomorrow.
I mean, it's
You're
happened so many
expendable.
times.
You're fucking expendable.
And see, most people think that they're never going to be the one. It's that old fucking. They came for the Jews, and I said nothing because I was not a Jew.
Game with the trade unionist. Yeah, yeah.
It's the same shit, but it's the truth. People don't care because it's just happening here and there to the bigger voices, but it could happen to you, and it will happen to you. And that's the danger of having these big fucking platforms in charge of such an important thing. They need to decide: are they free speech platforms? Are they platforms for speech, or are they private companies? Those two things are incompatible. So we have a crisis of identity in our social media platforms right now that needs to be addressed. Are these platforms for freedom of speech, for people, for anybody to use, and for the president to use?
Listen to this here. An employee asks what Google is going to do about misinformation and fake news shared by low information voters. Pichai responds by stating that investments in machine learning and AI are a big opportunity to fix the problem. So basically just YouTube's shitty content ID system expanded and expanded and expanded.
They're talking about an algorithm that's going to take a look at your content and decide whether or not it's worth watching.
Because a human being capable of nuanced thinking, that's not what's needed. What's needed is a cold algorithm that just, puts in a few variables and says, inappropriate, appropriate, good, bad.
Programmed, of course, with our corporate sensibilities in mind.
Right. Insidious, dude. It's always under the guise of like, oh, we're just trying to make these sites better and safer and more, it's always under the guise of safety and protecting people. But really, it's like they're just trying to protect people from different points of views. Like I've said, it's homogenization. They're trying to funnel everyone into these bullshit points of views where it's like you're either this or you're that. And you like these things, and these things are good and these things are bad.
I could go on for fucking days. I could rant and rave about how dangerous this shit is, because the shit we carry around in our fucking pockets and use all day, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all this bullshit, it's watching you, dipshit. It's cataloging you, retard.
Dude, you can't even dispute that.
Like,
at this point.
and not for a positive thing. It's learning how to make money off of you, and it's putting you in databases that the government can subpoena. You're being cataloged and listed,
Paul,
and you're complicit in it.
They admit
all
to
of
it.
us one
What's that guy like Sean Parker dude? One of the dudes helped launch Facebook. He admitted to it. There's interviews where it's like, yeah, we basically wanted to get people stuck in these dopamine loops so they would spend more time on the site so we could make money off of them.
Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, be sure to consider supporting this channel and all of the Pessimist Productions channels on the Pessimist Productions Patreon. You make everything that we do, from the Deep Fat Fried podcast to this show here to the Cinema for Cynics channel, you make all of it possible, and we thank you kindly.